Hey YouTube, Jumpmaster RC here. Another bench video. Today we've got the Arrma Vorteks 3S and we will be changing the Spur Gear. So I don't have any video footage of it, but long story short, I've been out there practicing doing some backflips and things like that. I've essentially stripped out the Spur Gear, so I want to show you what that looks like and then also how to go about fixing it. So let's get right into it. So I've already done a big portion of this. One of the first things that you need to do is go ahead and remove your drive shaft. All right, and make sure that, one, you don't drop your tools, and two, there's a piece in here. Make sure that you get that, and again, that's going to go right here. So the next step, and forgive the mess, the next step is going to be to remove this retainer right here. And in order to do that, there is a screw on the bottom. That goes right here. You'll unscrew that. The nut stays in it. Now this is where it can get a little bit difficult. This slides out, but I had to use a screwdriver in order to pry it out. Once that's out, just go ahead and set it off to the side. And there is nothing holding this motor in with the exception of this retainer here. So it says to pull, but if you pull and just try to pull it out, I was pretty unsuccessful with that. So what I ended up having to do is, again, take a screwdriver, kind of pry it out a little bit, pull up on this tab. Once that was done, this came right out. I obviously disconnected my fan, disconnected my motor wires right here that come from the ESC, and those just kind of stay off to the side. So the next step is to go ahead and remove the cover rather. Look at all these shavings. Came right off. I mean, obviously I'm going to want to clean that out. But I wanted to show you too what the Spur Gear looks like. So here's the Spur Gear itself, and it sits in the housing like so. All you have to do is just pull it out. And you'll notice that there's a bearing on each side, so make sure you don't lose those bearings. So I'm going to take the 2mm hex wrench and undo my slipper plates. Alright, and you want to make sure that you do not lose those washers. Do not lose those washers. There are 3 of them. Go ahead and just keep those on the main bolt. Pop that open. Now one of the things that you'll notice is that there's a little bit of debris in there. And so if possible, I want to go ahead and get that out. Make sure that this is nice and clean, free from any problems there. Again, you'll notice that there is a bearing right here in the middle. You will pop that bearing out to place it in the replacement here shortly. And then you're going to want to keep the slipper plates themselves together as they were. And anywhere that you see debris, go ahead and clean that out. At this point, you'll want to get your replacement Spur Gear. Part number ARA 310947. That's a 57 tooth Spur Gear 0.8 mod or 32 pitch. They do make a steel one, and I've got it on order, but it is back ordered until August. So again, here's what it looks like brand new. At this point, I'm going to pop this bearing out along with the base plate of the slipper pad. Okay, that bearing came out. All right, I gently pried that off. Here's the old one, trash. Take the new one. Set the slipper plate on and into the grooves. Go ahead and flip that over. Place your bearing back in. Okay, easy peasy. At this point, go ahead and take your stack here, your washer and your 2 additional slipper plates. Make sure that they are stacked appropriately. Set it down on over that. And place it in the large portion or the cavity portion of your slipper, excuse me, of your spur gear. So 1, then the washer, then the spur gear. I'm sorry, the slipper pad. We're going to take this key, set it in like so. I'm going to pull that out really quick because we want to make sure that that's seated properly. There you go. It's just going to snap into place, and that's how you'll know when it's seated properly. You'll take the cap, place that back on, take your bolt with your washer still attached, go ahead and drop that in there. Take your 2mm hex wrench, place that through, and tighten it down. Now, the spur gear replacement is effectively complete. However, we got to get this thing back in, right? So how do we do that? Well, we take our spur gear, we drop it down in that way, and then we want to set our mesh. Now, so I have not moved the mesh setting from before. It looks pretty good. So at this point, I will go ahead and place the cover back on. Take a 2.5mm hex wrench, hex driver, I don't know. Loosely tighten these up all the way around, and then go back through and give it a final. And you don't want to over tighten these. This is a plastic housing. All right. So at this point, you take your motor, make sure your parts are out of the way. You're going to take your motor and place it into the grooves. There's a groove on this side, there's a groove on that side. This lines up with those grooves. You will line up those grooves and slide it in. All right, that took quite a bit of finagling on my part. And I had to jostle it around a little bit, but I did get it in place. And once you get it in place, it will snap. It'll pop. You'll hear it. So at this point, you're going to take the red retaining block, slide it into the grooves that are in place. If you need to, take a screwdriver, kind of push it in place. And you'll just slide this on, like so. Compress the drive shaft, like so. Drop it down in its place, allow it to pop in. And at this point, you can take your battery, power it on, test it out. Everything should be good to go. Folks, if this is the kind of thing you like to see and you'd like to see more of it, press the like button and let me know. Leave a comment down below and give me your thoughts. Hit the notification bell. Share with all your friends and family. Jumpmaster RC, out.